I wanted to share something taking from you. I like to look at it, it's not, instead of man and male and female. I like to look at it as masculine and feminine energy.
Hmm.
And I believe that there's not only toxic masculinity, because a lot of people think masculinity is toxic, but there is actually toxic masculinity. And if you don't just say paint all masculinity as toxic, most men will agree with you. And then on the other side of that, there could be toxic femininity, which would, both of them would just be out of balance to
Yeah.
the extreme.
Yeah.
Um, I posted something earlier. Somebody asked a sage, what is poison?" And it's too much of greed, sexuality, like all these different things. That's when it becomes toxic. That's when it becomes a poison. When there's too much. When you take too much of something, that's when it becomes a poison. I mean,
Yeah.
water. Taking too much water is drowning. You can have too much oxygen and die also.
Yeah.
So, so it's one of those. It's one of those things that, if we talk about strength, in order for me to throw a punch, my arm can't just be masculine energy. It like that, like bringing it towards you is feminine energy, pulling back is feminine energy, and punching like this is like the masculine energy. And it's a mind of like all these different things that are working within accordance to do that. And
Yeah.
life is the same way as far as that, and that's where that strength comes from, to be able to be quick and do that. So I don't think it's that we're shaking that magical wand
Mm.
that this race is bad, the women are bad in that situation, because I feel all these things here and there that these other people are feeling, but also I know that that's very limiting at times. Do you want to add anything,
Yeah,
Fiona?
I can I just add really quickly. I think one of the biggest things people don't address is the root of that toxic energy, right? Um, Not necessarily just kind of saying, "Oh, this person is toxic," but also kind of getting down to the bottom of why that person might have toxic traits or toxic energy, or why they carry such negative energy or emotions. You know what I mean? Um, because typically when you have someone who's healed, communication becomes better. The way that they speak to one another becomes better. They tend to use more of a positive um
They have a more positive
approach.
area and approach. Yeah.
Yeah, a positive approach to things. So I mean, what makes someone toxic?
Yeah.
Right? What types of trauma are these people going through to have such a clingy energy, to have such a rejecting energy, to not be accepting of someone else, to not be fully open to loving someone unconditionally, right?
And I think
I think that's important.
yeah, if you don't mind me bouncing off of that,
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the programming, you know, that we have being raised up, and along with the trauma, the programming, you know, the music industry, films that we see, everything that we're exposed to, that we're not told, like there's subliminal messages here, you know, this, you know, women are objectified a certain way, you know, and we need to start going against that more, or kind of, you know, pouring, emptying out that glass so that we can be filled again, so that we can understand who we truly are, because really a lot of us are not acting out of our true self or our true will.
Mm.
We're acting based off of what other people are telling us that we want to be like, or should act like, or think like, or feel like, without us even recognizing it. Sometimes
Mhm.
we hear something, you know, and it's in again, it's like a subliminal message. It's like whispered to us, or we see it and we think, oh, I want that, I want to be like that, I want to feel like that, or, you know, just like that. And a lot of, and it's not the case. And I feel like now we're all kind of waking up to that, understanding who we truly are, and being
Mhm.
able to express that and those needs that we have. And I think that's why it's, again, it's important talking about our sexual needs, or even talking about the traumas. I think that's first, before like our sexual needs come up in conversation, you know, or in a relationship with anybody. It should be, you know, have you healed yourself? Because pretty much everyone is in a bad way. Everyone has experienced some form of trauma, or has some sort of chain that they need to break. And once you do that, then you come to an understanding of like who you are and who you can connect with and who who you vibe with, and the universe just starts putting, like, now, how I feel like we've probably all gone through our healing, and here we are connected with one another, communicating about this, and it's not just for our benefit, it's for everyone around us. And I think that's what we need to understand too, is a part of the healing. When we heal, other people's heals. When we're not healing, we're enabling everyone else around us to neglect their own healing and not reflect inwards, because we're all a reflection. So if I'm not healing, if I'm not going within in a relationship and saying, okay, how can I be better? What needs do I need to meet for myself, and what needs do I need to meet for you? If we're not doing that, then we're never going to get any deeper, and heal, and we're just going to skim the surface. So I'm grateful that y'all are here today and we're doing this and we're diving in, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. And I think it's going to be amazing for not just for us, for the community, for many people around us who are going to be able to have a voice and be able to speak and understand a little bit better what they might be going through. I think it's important.
I have a young lady that works in a coffee shop that we had a conversation this morning at the coffee shop that she works at. And the reason why I use the term young lady, because when I was mentoring this college student, which I always call them college students, I don't call them boys and girls, I decided to stop using the word girl and just use the word women. Because
you're shifting the paradigm.
Yeah, even for the people that don't know, because it's like when I'm doing projects with students, and Corona would know, I have high expectations for them. I'm treating them as a peer, and even though I don't like to be called sir, but I have a Peter Pan complex. I like to be respected for, and people don't have to blindly listen to it. But I was talking to her, and this is the first time we actually sat down and talked, and I started hanging out in that coffee shop more during COVID. And she said to me, she goes, "You seem to always be happy." And I thought about it, and I was like, I told her about some of the things that were going on with me since I've known her. I said my father died, one of my friends shot his 18-year-old daughter himself and his wife. And she's just seeing me as always happy. And I go, the reason why is like hour after I found it, I'm driving people in my Lyft passengers, and I'm talking about what happened. And I would say that's much more feminine energy, but I do it because I know it helps them, but also it's just like, I don't want to bottle this stuff up. I want to express it. And I'm comfortable having just common everyday questions. And that's a lot of times when I'm making jokes and stuff is because the conversations are just so ordinary. Like, oh, did you watch the Academy Awards yesterday? I want to go, no, I fucking didn't watch the Academy Awards yesterday. I fucking hate award shows. But also I have to respect where they are. But
that's a beautiful thing.
Go ahead. What are you going to say, Amanda?
That's a beautiful thing. Oh, I was going to say it's a beautiful thing about feminine energy is it's very intuitive and interconnected, the way feminine energy of women. Oh, I'm losing y'all.
Okay, go ahead, Corona. And if
what?
Yeah, go.
I think she's cutting out a little bit, Steve.
I know, that's why. You want me to go ahead?
No, I wanted to chime in a little bit on that.
Okay.
I think someone in the comments earlier was saying something about fear, right? And I think that's a thing that feeling that kind of holds us a lot back. Fear of rejection, fear of someone misunderstanding your stories, fear of judgment, right? These are all real fears. And I think for anyone to be able to conquer those fears, they have to be willing to talk about it, to be open about it, to share these stories. I mean, the story with Amy, right? I'm saying her name in memory of Amy, in memory of not just her and her story, but also the many other women who have been murdered by men for their sexual energy, for looking a certain way, for inciting sexual urges, you know, just like this other young female that passed away recently who was being traumatized by, was it her janitor, you know? But it's a matter of speaking up and speaking out. I mean, as a sexual violence survivor, I think I got over the fear fast because of your guidance, Steve. I don't think that I would be able to talk about all of the things that I've gone through had I not had that type of guidance in my life. And I think that that's a big life lesson that a lot of people need to learn, to get over that fear and just live in their true, unapologetic selves in order to become more wholesome, to feel more wholesome, to say, yeah, I went through that shit. But guess what? It's that shit that made me who I am today, that taught me how to deal with this type of situation a second time around. And it doesn't always happen that way, right? Because a lot of people don't have communities to speak in. A lot of people don't have communities to feel a part of, communities to feel that they resonate with. But I think the important part is that we are here and we are creating those spaces, and we are willing to kind of help one another learn about each other, learn about our stories, our traumas, and help each other work past them. I mean, just like this beautiful being here, right? And a lot of the creations that she makes for people. And not just healing our emotional selves, but also our physical selves, right? That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, yeah.